we want to talk about how Black Panther is a game-changing movie. That's our focus today. And its significance of its success. What is the significance of its success? That's the question. That's the humongous question. What it says. So today is what? We Saturday, February the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
As of yesterday, the Black Panther did about, I think they said 320 million US. $320 million US.
So that's $120 million profit because it was
Wow.
$200.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just domestically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just here in the United
Right.
States.
because it's
Overseas,
over 500 million.
It was,
yeah.
the total was 550, just under 550 million as of yesterday.
Okay.
So between today, Saturday, the 24th, and tomorrow, the 25th, by Monday, they'll be they should be well over 600 million for 2 weeks. So that breaks it, that takes them to another stratosphere record wise. So obviously they already broke the record of grossing the most money in February for a February movie. Because the movie time is either Christmas
Right.
or summer.
Yeah, May, June.
Those are the blockbuster time slot. Because they said whenever they put a movie like in February, it's like, oh, this can maybe flop. It's like, that's like the back of the bus type of opening season. So like this broke the barriers of the back of the bus thing. So like the next Black Panther movie, they got to put it in the front of the bus. They got to put it in summer, or they got to put it at the Christmas break because of the level of success. But what does the success really mean? What does it mean? That's the question. So it's done well all over the world so far. They've yet to open up. I think this weekend, either this weekend or next weekend, is Russia
Okay.
and Japan. After the first week of March, it opens up in China. And that's a huge one, right? They're looking to see how it does in China. Now, I project it should do well in China for a couple of reasons. One, what do you think why it may do well in China? What would you say?
We kind of talked about
Oh,
it.
we talked about it already?
Yeah.
So, what do we say?
Well, China has a foothold in the continent right now with all the resources and this marriage thing. They have like a stronghold going on the continent. Africa.
Economically, China has, anyone who's been studying that, China has a strong economic interest with Africa. So China actually may have a vested interest in wanting that movie to do well there, literally, because it shows for good relations. Because they've already been doing exchange, like cultural exchanges. They brought in like those the brothers from where they're from, the Congo, a whole like group of them, like young, middle-aged, and then elders. They brought in from the Congo, and they got them to tour like Shaolin Temple, and they was training them in martial arts and teaching them Chinese culture. And so it was like a cultural exchange type of thing. It's on YouTube. You saw it, right?
Yeah.
On YouTube. The brothers there doing Shaolin. And so there's a lot of culture exchange. So there's a big push between relationships with Africa and China. So from that point of view, I'm sure the business people in China want that movie to do well because it shows good relations between them and Africa. So hopefully that'll work out. But the bottom line is, what does that mean? How does that, when we say what does that mean, we're really saying what does that mean for black people as a whole? Why were black people even excited? Where's the excitement coming from? What is that excitement is all about? What we argue that excitement is about, and it's not no mystery. Black people, for the first time ever, get to see themselves in a movie that shows black greatness on all levels. No subjugation, no influence by European colonizers, right? So we've never seen that before. We never seen, white people never put that kind of movie into showing black greatness, because white people have a history of telling black people, you don't have no darn culture. You're not great. You wasn't great until we plucked you out of Africa and gave you the light. You know, we educated you. We did this for you. Be thankful that you were slaves here, right? Mm-hmm. So they never had an interest in showing us as great. So this is the first time that's ever happened.
It's funny that it was done by Disney. Of all people.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, they say.
But think about this. Think about this. The fact that it was done by Disney. Now think about this. Like, people need to think about this. So now Black Panther successful first movie, right? So we automatically know there's going to be a sequel. So imagine the sequel is successful, right? If the sequel is successful, Black Panther, then they're obviously going to do a third one, mm-hmm. right? And let's say this movie's making billions. Because you know what they're talking now? What they want to see? Merchandise. Mm. They want to see, do they make big money in Black Panther merchandise?
They're getting the dolls and all
yes.
that, and the action
They're
figures.
Looking at that. Yeah. They're looking at that, right? So let's say they do well in that. So guess what they can probably create?
Go to Disney World.
A Wakanda and Disney
mm-hmm.
World. What do you think of that?
That would be great.
A Wakanda and
I mean, shoot,
Disney
they just
World.
created the Harry Potter and then the King Kong Island, the Skull Island.
They can transform. They already got the y'all didn't go when we went to Disney World, but they got the what is it? They got a jungle setting there with all the animals. Animal Kingdom?
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom just this past year, last year. Know what they set up? Avatar. The land of Avatar.
Avatar.
Okay.
Because we went last year. We couldn't even get in. It was too crowded. Mm. It was like the line was like freaking 5 hours. You had to wait. Like, I ain't waiting on no 5 hour line, you know, to get in to see the Avatar thing. You know, it's so that's saying something.
That is, because Avatar's been out.
Yeah.
It's been gone.
Yeah.
And it's still, you know.
Wow.
Impacting people, yeah.
Oh, it's huge pack. Huge pack.
They could put in Wakanda at Disney World. Oh my goodness.
So the fact that that Disney is doing this,
yeah.
which gives them the rights to now do something like that. You know? But what does that mean for black people? Because you know the black conscious community. Why are you supporting white people? You're giving white people all this money. That's not the point. That's not the point. I mean,
like name something we're doing here that ain't giving them money.
Yeah, well, that's not the point. The point is to expand the conscious awareness of black people of what if they can do it, we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. Let them do it. So what? Black Panther's a fantasy anyway. Wakanda's a fantasy. Let us create the real thing. They only going to deal with the fantasy. For us, it's a vision to create the real thing. Knowing that we already did it through ancient Egypt and all our ancient societies. We have the ability, historically, now, for the first time, children, they don't get to go to Egypt. They don't get to see what our abilities was. This movie was able to do something we haven't been able to do for our children.
True.
Because we can't take them to Egypt. We couldn't afford to take them to Egypt. So for what? $6 to $20, we could take them to the movies and let them see this visually.
But you see, the influence, I think also the influence of people like Henry Clark, Ben, I always pronounce his name.
Dr. Ben.
Yeah, Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben, Browder, what's the other guy, light-skinned brother. What all of them are doing now is influencing everyone, everywhere,
Yes.
in my opinion. Okay?
Yes.
I don't think this movie, this didn't come out this time.
No,
they see what we like and what we're,
these brothers, whatever. I'm sorry, I messed
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. They are a product of these teachings.
That's right.
They are a product of these teachings.
And that's showing up now. And Hollywood's saying, hey, we've always been, denigrating them. Let's see what can happen if we do.
You can't hold a good man down.
Right. Right.
You know.
They deserve credit. They're not going to get it, but they deserve credit for that, because this whole awareness is going to take us leaps and bounds. Because now everybody, and we were talking about that was in the internet. Everybody's getting access to what you guys are doing here. Everybody's getting access, so they can't hide it anymore. And what does Whitey always do? Well, we can't. Let's make money off of it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I'm saying. Let them make their money, because for us, it's elevating conscious awareness of what we can do. Because the beauty of Wakanda, this is a black nation without the interference of the colonizer.
Right.
What a thought.
Right.
To put that in everybody's brain.
That's being put out there.
And that was overt in the movie. That was so overt.
The word is being put out there now. Colonizer.
Yeah.
Whitey ain't gonna like that, but the young ones will say, "Oh, yeah, that's what our father," because they're not gonna consider themselves colonized. But that's what our fathers were. They were. We know they were pricks. A lot of them. That's the whole thing. And during Vietnam, they will, finally realize, hey, wait a minute, man. I ain't gonna go fight over there for this shit because they started this. We didn't start nothing.
Yeah.
So that word is gonna resonate.
Yeah.
Popular culture always pushes things. And that was a big thing.
It's the young people that'll help free us, along with the elders. The elders will put the idea out there.
Right. And
then the young people act on it. And that's one of the things I see. All of those guys I've been looking at now on YouTube, and I'm looking at some stuff here that's blowing my mind that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't know. It wasn't out there. I could have probably gone to Egypt, but I couldn't. Plus, who am I going to talk to? Now I can go with Anthony Browder if I wanted to, and see. They have enough. He's opening a tomb, if it's not already done, with the chief of antiquities and all the heads of the Egyptian people there, a ribbon cutting thing because he found a tomb of a priest. They said it was the biggest tomb ever found.
Wow.
Biggest.
Yeah.
In the Valley of the King. And he was saying that there's a lot more that is to be found, but they're locking it up though. They say they're starting to not allow people in there.
Well, here's the deal: a movie like this will open the conversation because now black children, especially, that's why we need Black Panther Part 2, and we need a successful Black Panther Part 3, because what that does for black children is to talk about Wakanda, and they're gonna say the greatness of Wakanda, 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 and then someone who's educated will hit them with, we kind of had a real Wakanda. It was called Ancient Egypt. And the child was like, what are you talking about? It now will bring this conversation into the greatness of Africa that never was really a part of the conversation about we had a great civilization. We ruled as a great people without the influence of the colonizers. Something that can be done again today. That's what this is about. That's what this represents. That's what I see. That's what I see as the game changer. This is what I see that can make a difference. That it begins to broaden, which is what we're about at Nuwaupu.org. Our whole focus is how do we teach our story? What techniques we can use to get our story out there? What techniques we can use to get our people even interested in even hearing it? This might be it. This might be an undercover way of it doing that, and I can see that.
Sure.
That this is what did Mukasu do? They open up a can of worms, Pandora's box. You open up something you can't close now.
Well, it's obvious because people are gonna want to know. Okay, what else is there? Because if they were to do something like you were talking about, I forget what you had mentioned when we were talking at the house.
Another movie, what I was saying was Ryan Coogler and them, let's say do Black Panther 2, that's successful. Black Panther 3, that's exactly. Now that opens the door for him to do the Mansa Musa story, excuse me.
Right.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
We talked about, they had the images of the brother Michael Jai White dressed as the Moor.
Yeah.
And it's like, going to Spain, let's do it, yeah.
It opens the door. Now it really opens the door because now he has a proven track record. And so now this sets the stage, and not just for him, for other.
But this is his third movie where he for Fruitvale Station he had $900,000 budget, and they made $173 million.
Wow.
Okay, he had I think a $2 or $3 million budget for
Creed.
Creed. I didn't even know he did that.
Yeah.
Creed, and it was well over the hundreds
Wow.
of millions with that. So now they gave him $200 million,
Wow.
and now I would love to see him crack $1 billion.
Well, I was gonna say the talk on the movie channels is at first they were saying people crazy to think $1 billion, but they're postulating now it's gonna crack like 1.5. That's what they're guessing.
Well, look at this. They got their 200 right now. They got their 200 million back plus another 150 million.
Yeah.
So they're already
everything
happy.
is gravy
And
now.
that's just here. And everybody in the United States hasn't finished watching it.
Yeah, we're not done with the second week yet.
Yeah.
So
Plus, when it goes worldwide, now it's a whole nother story.
That's what I'm saying. It's a game changer. That's something.
It's too bad Africa doesn't have as many theaters as we do.
Yeah.
That would really be the kicker.
Yeah.
And one day that may come to pass.
Yeah. I think it has a lot of promise. I see for our people to see greatness, and that's what it's about. The reaction to this movie is insane.
yeah, I haven't seen so many people like we talked about it. Auntie going, I'm like, she don't go to the movies. Period.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I heard
Right.
people. We got elders in their 70s. 80s, 90s, talking about I'm going to the movies like twice and 3 times to go see this movie.
She went. She never. I can't think of the last movie she ever went to.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, and then because of its success, look at all the free publicity it gave.
Right.
yeah.
Which that in itself will generate people to go see because they gave it all this hype of everybody saying how much they enjoyed the movie. So we don't know what this movie's gonna make.
You should see the people that come dressed up.
Yeah. Well, see, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, the incitement, making black people identify with African culture and be proud about it.
Dudes that brought drums and everything in the theater were playing. And people would dance. I said, oh, look at this. I said, holy smoke. Not just young people.
Yeah.
The older ones will come in, dressed up like, it reminds me of Eddie Murphy's movie.
What, Coming to America?
Yeah. They were dressed up.
Normally you couldn't force us to do that. Now it's like
because we don't identify with Africa. This movie literally made us identify with Africa
and
again.
Greatness. Africa is greatness.
That's the key.
That's the key. And that's what I'm arguing. That's the game changer. That one movie did that. Amazing. We've been
like,
yelling this. How long we been yelling this? For black people? We got to look at Africa. We've been yelling this for years and took one movie.
When you the importance of the eyes.
Right.
To visually see, there's nothing stronger than that. You can talk to you blue in the face, but if you see it.
Well, this society know that all the commercials and stuff.
I always argue with you about that, especially Stephen A. They always talking about the eye test.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate test. What did I see?
Yeah.
If my eyes deceive me, that's one thing, but I saw it. So it's going to be hard to, get rid of that.
Seeing is knowing.
Yeah.
That's what we teach. Seeing is knowing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Reading and hearing is believing. Seeing
Yeah.
is knowing. That's right.
The other history, of course, you can't use your eyes, but you have to use your mind.
Yeah.
To listen, but when it's in your generation, I got to see this, man.
Yeah.
And then I'll know it to be so.
Yeah. No,
I mean, that whole, because I didn't get the connection in the beginning, because I'm trying to connect it with the movie. Then when I saw, I was telling him about
Civil War.
Yeah, okay. Now I led right into it, where what he was all about. I didn't know that.
Right.
And now, because the significance.
That's interesting. That's an interesting point, because you know how many people saw Black Panther but didn't see Captain America in Civil War.
Yeah, because they're not fans of Marvel or nothing like that.
Exactly,
They just went to
and
go
they
see
loved
that
it
movie.
anyway.
Right.
But seeing Captain America, if anybody out there didn't see that, see Captain America in Civil War as it introduces Black Panther because it brings more fullness to the story,
Right.
to the storyline. So
It does.
that's interesting.
Especially that whole, that intro, the whole Your Highness, and he's a
Yeah.
sovereign individual coming over here doing what he wants to, and they can't do nothing about it, right?
Yeah, but see, like any story, you have to understand. Okay, how did this come to be? He's
Right.
a superhero because Marvel comes on. He's a superhero. So wait a minute, you're going into a history lesson. What does that got to do with anything? You'll understand if you see Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So that made a whole lot more. That opened my eyes because it made a whole lot more sense. In the movie. So, because when I saw it, and I said, what the hell is going on here? Then I saw the father, and I said, okay, now there's the origin for
Right.
me. And it ties right into it, just like, and that's why in with the Superman movie, with
Which one?
it ends where he's fighting General Zod.
Okay.
And then the
Yeah,
next
Man of
one,
Steel,
he's
yeah.
right. Then the next one, he's fighting. You don't see him. They're
Right,
fighting
right,
a
right,
Go to
right.
Batman
that's
versus
right,
Superman, right?
Batman
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
Superman,
So
right,
now
right.
you're okay. This is a leading me
picks up right where-
leading me in. Because
Right.
what the hell's going on here? Okay, he's fighting General Zod all over the place. Okay, that made sense.
Right.
So what's his name? The white guy that the producer. He's pretty deep.
Yeah, obviously the Marvel, the way they've been setting their movies up is all connected. Everything is connected.
I'm just sad that
Basically.
they bypassing DC. I was a DC man all my life. Marvel just passing them like they standing still.
Yeah, because that last Justice League movie total was 230, I think they said. Total. For 3 months, that's all they made.
Because they
230.
messed up with those Flash thing. They messed
Yeah,
up.
they did.
That was
Well, see,
ridiculous.
at least relating this to the question, like, what does this mean? It means a lot when you talk about, like, how popular is Flash, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and as a whole,
Right.
they couldn't barely make what a black movie of a superhero who's really not really known in the
It's
comic.
unknown. It's unknown.
That movie beat them in the first weekend.
Well, see, that's a testament. That's a testament to that brother, Ryan Coogler, because the key is how he didn't
Captured
just
the
put out
vision.
a superhero movie.
Right.
He actually made a movie telling a story. Movies about telling a story,
Right, he made him. Yeah, he
getting
made a
people to
movie.
want to see a story. He actually did that, and with that kind of skill, you want him to do a Mansa Musa. Like the ultimate movie I was telling Dad about, Isaiah chapter 19. The Bible, Isaiah chapter. Anybody out there, read Isaiah, and we'll put that up.
Okay.
Isaiah chapter 19 talks about the civil war that took place in ancient Egypt. This was the war between the Hyksos dynasty fighting the of the north, the Hyksos dynasty of the northern Africa, northern Egypt, fighting the southern African of Egypt. Basically, this was the war ruled by, I believe it was Atmos the first, who started this war with the southern Egyptians versus the northern Egyptians, basically. And this was a phenomenon. Seeing that in the movies, the civil war that took place in ancient Egypt, that would be a phenomenal story to tell. And you need a good storyteller. And this brother's obviously he's proven himself to be a phenomenal storyteller when it comes to movies. He is, and hopefully we get some more directors that can do that and tell our stories, because we have so many stories to tell, and it's gonna revolutionize people. It really is. It really is gonna revolutionize. And one of the beautiful things, phenomenal things they pointed out, and I didn't think about it, is when you look at what Marvel's doing, and hopefully Black Panther is going to be a part of this. They're trying to create what they did with James Bond. When did the first James Bond movie come out?
I don't know. That was in the 60s, early 60s.
Isn't that like 1960? We said
maybe a little later, maybe 62, 60, I can't remember, 62, 63. 'Cause
Now think
60,
about.
I was 9 years, that would make me 9 at the time, so
Wow.
it couldn't be 1960.
Okay.
Because we went to the movies,
You was
so I was
older.
there about 11 or 12.
Really?
11, yeah.
So we're talking 63,
Yeah.
60.
Well, shoot,
52,
even if it was
53.
even if
Okay.
it was 68, which you know was before that, right?
No, I was 62, 60. It was around Kennedy.
But I mean, that's over 50 years of a running
We're
standing
talking
movie,
about
like a standing
50-year movie franchise.
franchise.
Yeah.
Think about that. Half a century. A running movie thing.
Yeah.
That can influence a lot of people. And this is what the game change I'm talking about with Black Panther. It can start a trend of seeing this type of level of depiction of Black greatness, and that obviously that's going to have an impact on the hearts and minds of Black children up and coming, and so on and so forth. And this is what we pray for. This is what we hope. So we say support it. Support the movie. Definitely support the movie. Definitely go out and see it.
We got the money to do it.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is see it once and then see it again.
Yeah, we talk about our video about the black dollar, and we always talk about referencing Claude Anderson,
Right.
$1 trillion. I mean, if we want to start putting our money anywhere, the first place would be putting it in support of showing Black excellence, Black greatness.
Yeah.
No matter where it's put out, then we can start putting it out ourselves.
A game changer. I honestly feel that this movie is definitely the beginning of changing things in the positive for Black people, because image is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Image is everything. The movie industry have shown that time and time again that images and pictures can change people's perceptions. They talk about how that darn movie, that nasty movie they put out in the early 1900s, Birth of a Nation. They said that changed a lot of people, a lot of white people. They said the Ku Klux Klan magnified with that movie. They magnified. They said that movie had that impact, and that other darn movie, Gone with the Wind, had a huge impact on the psyches of people. Star Wars did.
Yeah.
Star Wars did. And that came out, 1977? Man, I'm like, the fact that darn Force Awakens broke the record.
It's like one of the highest grossing movies ever. Yeah.
That broke the record, so that's a cultural phenomenon. In fact, one of the executives of Disney said that influenced him, seeing Luke Skywalker as a child.
Yeah.
He said that impacted him.
Yeah, we talked about it. How many movie reviews we see where, that's the staple movie poster in the back of people's, rooms and in the house.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Well, this thing about our beloved sister, Janae, with this Harry Potter thing.
Yeah.
The influence that a movie can have on someone. You tattoo yourself. So, I mean, it's real. It's real. And that's what we're looking for with Black Panther. I think it can have a huge, phenomenal impact in the long run.
See, they had the right cast.
Yeah.
That's always key.
Yeah.
Because that brother both of them played.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were awesome.
And then the women, see, that to me was really awesome. That you had his bodyguards were all women.
They were serious,
And
right?
they were serious women, the bald head and all that stuff.
And proud, so proud,
the lead woman trained with a karate master.
Yeah.
It was saying,
Yeah.
so. I mean, that was awesome. I said, look at this. At first I said, wait a minute, you got all where did that at? That's like I used to it.
Yeah.
When they started fighting, I said, oh gee, she can fight.
You know what was funny? When you bring up Civil War, I'm thinking about that. And seeing her first introduced there, that said a lot. Because they show that whole walk to the car scene.
She was in that, right.
When she told, the move or you'll be
that
moved.
wasn't her.
That wasn't her?
That was
it was
the
one
other
of
one.
the
That was the other
Dora
one. That was the other
She
one.
was in it.
Okay, she was in it.
That was the other one. Yeah, that was the other one.
Just the presence of that, though. It was like, never felt no black person be that assertive in this kind of world. Like,
well, see, that tells
says a
another
lot.
story, another cultural, historical story that Black, and this is something children don't know, that black societies, kingdoms were ruled by women. That we had a matriarchal society. That the women chose the rulers. This is the way. This is our way, and they was able to put that on film, and to see that the kings were surrounded by women. This was a popular thing in black culture.
You know, the guy Dr. Hagen was talking today about that, how the white male is, he basically was saying, you know, he's got a problem with women.
Yeah.
You know, because he went all into the Catholic Church about how, you know, the pedophile. He went back and I forget, you know, during the old church about something, because he was saying symbolism is very powerful.
Sure.
And I can't remember what he said. You ever? He knows him.
Yeah, you saw Ray Hagen.
Ray Hagen.
Oh yeah,
Ray Hagen.
He deep. I just got hip to him yesterday. He deep. I said, oh, you know, because he was telling me, you know, about the name Israel, what that meant. I never heard that before.
Yeah.
You know, this is for ISIS and
Right.
I said, oh, yeah. But they were going, and then I also like Tony Brown when he takes you through the tour of Washington D.C.
Right.
All of the symbolism, and you would never in a million years figure it out. You know, the whole thing about the obelisk, the Washington Monument. I didn't know that represented, that was, what's his name's penis.
Yeah.
I didn't, but see, one book, I take that back because I've forgotten. I read Francis, what's her name?
Cress Wilson.
Francis Cress
Cress
Wilson,
Wilson.
ISIS Papers.
ISIS Papers.
Yeah.
And it talked about that. I remember I used to talk to a Spanish guy. He used to work with. He used to think I was crazy. So you read the crazy ass books. I wish I could see him now.
I'll just add that in. The whole symbol in ancient Kemet, Egypt, we had the obelisk, what we call the Nathar, men. M-I-N. This is where the word men, M-E-N, in English come from. It's the same word as human. That's an Egyptian word. Human is an Egyptian word. Hu was an ancient Egyptian deity, which was known as the creative force of will. It was the tone, the spoken word that created all. You get that. Romans copy that when you look at the Bible, Book of John, chapter 1, verse 1, when it says, in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was the Word. And so that's the Book of John, chapter 1, verse 1. That's an ancient Egyptian principle from the deity called Hu, H-U. And then the ancient Egyptian deity called Men, M-I-N. Men represented the sun. And so they had him as a body, and he was a fertilizer, right? And they said the male phallic symbol,
Right.
but it was in his navel. It was coming out of his navel. If you pay attention to it, it was coming out of the navel. And that represented the sun. Why that represented the sun? Because what does the sun do? It showers. It showers like an ejaculation. It impregnates the earth with sun rays, sunshine. This is how we have life, vegetation. New life comes up, but you can't have that life unless the sun showers its rays, its sunshine on the planet. So these were symbols that was created in ancient Egypt that identified with the celestial bodies, the heavens. That's where it came from. They were astrological symbolisms that we created on earth, basically, to signify these different events that happen in our solar system and other solar systems of the zodiac that influence the planet Earth. This is why we did a lecture on that. What was that lecture? We talked about this. What it was we built ancient monuments around the world that were basically celestial clocks. And it helped us identify when a new cycle was
Cycles
coming
of
in.
Nature.
Yes, we did a video called The Cycles of Nature where we track these different cycles. Like today, we only track planetary cycles: winter, summer, spring, and fall. Our ancestors not only tracked planetary cycles, but they tracked the solar system has cycles that influence the planet. The galaxy has cycles that influence the planet. And the universe has a cycle that influences the planet. So we tracked all of them. All of them. Because when a universal cycle came in, it signified a galactic change, which signified a planetary change, which then would have traumatic effects on the planet, like the Ice Age, or volcano eruptions, earthquakes, tornadoes. When you see all those types of signs going on in the planet, that's signaling, that tells the inhabitants, supposed to tell the inhabitants, that you're now entering into a new changing cycle. And that's what we were teaching. And again, to go back to the Black Panther movie, hopefully this movie triggers our people to identify with African culture, and we now will begin to study these things, because we're living in this day and time of the change of cycles. That's the only reason why this movie even exists, because this is a new cycle that we're in, where it's allowing us to get exposed to all of these things. This is the essence of what this what we're saying. This is a part of the game change. This is the new cycle. We call it the sun cycle. We just came out of the moon cycle. The rulership that only the moon people, the children of the shadow, can rule. Now we're in the sun cycle. The children of the sun can rule. It's a shifting of the guard. A shifting of the guard. That's all that's happening.
That bookstore you were talking about, when does it open? Only on the weekend or during
It's open every day, just about. Just got to get the times.
Okay.
Kazembe? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So-
Black Dot.
Yeah, again, I hope everyone enjoyed this. Definitely check out other videos. Definitely, again, support what we're doing at nuwaupucc.com. Become a member of what we're doing. If you like it, press thumbs up that you like our video. Become a member. Subscribe to the channel and spread the word.
Alrighty.
Starring the mad prophet of the airways, Howard Beale.
Edward George Ruddy died today. Edward George Ruddy was the chairman of the board of the Union Broadcasting Systems, and he died at 11 o'clock this morning of a heart condition, and woe is us. We're in a lot of trouble. So, a rich little man with white hair died. What has that got to do with the price of rice, right? And why is that woe to us? Because you people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now. Because less than 3% of you people read books. Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome goddamn force in the whole godless world. And woe is us if it ever falls into the hands of the wrong people. And that's why woe is us that Edward George Ruddy died. Because this company is now in the hands of CCA, the Communication Corporation of America. There's a new chairman of the board, a man called Frank Hackett, sitting in Mr. Ruddy's office on the 20th floor. And when the 12th largest company in the world controls the most awesome goddamn propaganda force in the whole godless world, who knows what shit will be peddled for truth on this network? So you listen to me. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. So if you want the truth, go to God. Go to your gurus. Go to yourselves, because that's the only place you're ever going to find any real truth. But man, you're never going to get any truth from us. We'll tell you anything you want to hear. We lie like hell. We'll tell you that Kojak always gets the killer and that nobody ever gets cancer in Archie Bunker's house. And no matter how much trouble the hero is in, don't worry, just look at your watch. At the end of the hour, he's going to win. We'll tell you any shit you want to hear. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion. So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off